everyone. Thank you for joining Share Your Truth. This is episode 5, and we will be discussing being in the world, but not of the world. I'm Bridget Marie.
I'm Nika Means.
I'm Candice.
I'm Raquel. I'm EJ.
I'm Triana.
I'm Jasmine. And how to be in the world but not of the world. In today's world, it's a huge struggle, especially like with a lot of cultures and traditions that take place. It's like you have to find a balance of being, I would say, whole or holy, and not let your flesh get the best of you, because we are in this world and it's a lot of things that take place that your flesh desires. So it's like, it could be like a game of tug of war between spirit and flesh, and that's basically like really what it is. For me, I would say it is a struggle. I would say the more that I feed my spirit, the better I am at being led by the spirit, as opposed to being led by my flesh. I believe that's why God's word says, be careful what you set forth before your eyes and your ears, because it's so easy to go left instead of going right. So for me, it's still a struggle. It's definitely a challenge because we are still in flesh. And it's like flesh kind of rules this world right now with everything that's taking place. But I would say the more time I spend with God, the more time I feed and nurture my spirit, I'm more spirit-led than flesh-led, I would say.
And like being like of the world is so hard because you have social media. Like at first, before it was social media, it was like you could live in your own world, create your own little, bubble. But now it's like we on social media, we taking all the stuff from other people, like trying to put it into our world. Like, so when you say that, it's like that's the truth, because, and you probably do have to feed your spirit. When you were saying, I was like, I probably need to feed my spirit because we do get mixed up into what other people have in their world, and then we take it over to ours when it's not even what's supposed to be there. So I can agree to that. I need to feed my spirit.
I think it's a huge battle, like she was saying too. It is a battle between flesh and spirit. Like, it's a war, and we go to war every day. Because there's things like you were saying, Mika, that, we may see something on social media, on TV, and we're like, dang, it's starting to hit our flesh. And we're thinking that this is how I should be living, or this is how I should be doing.
Your expectations.
Yeah.
Or like going in, it's like I wasn't even wanting this like shit.
And that's when you have to dig into your spirit, like for real, like what's really for me?
Right.
That's not for me.
Right.
Sometimes it ain't for them, but
that's the least to go with. Right. But at the same time, I think that's where the struggle comes in at, because something won't be for the person that we're looking at, and we trying to make it for ourselves when it really wasn't even for them. So that's where the struggle come in at, because it's like being in the world can put a lot of stuff on you that you don't even want. And then sometimes you try to please the world without trying to, and not even thinking of yourself. It's like, let me do this because this is what the world is doing, or this is what the world wants to see, when this is not even you. So that's like being in the world. What is it? Being in the world, being out,
being in it, but not
of it. And that's the thing, because we could be in it, and it's so hard to not become it. Especially with the social media and all that. So that's the hard part. Like, I'm in the world, but then also you don't even feel like you're not doing enough.
And not only with social media, but like on TV too, like stuff that come on TV. It's like the stuff that used to be done in the dark now is being brought to light. And it's like our kids are seeing this stuff, and it's like it's making it that it's okay. But it's like if it was done in the dark before, now it's being brought to light. How is that okay? But God's word says everything that's done in the dark will be brought to light. Jesus is scary. It's scary. But that's where, when you feed your spirit, that's when your spirit steps in, because your spirit goes. It's like your spirit man is battling your flesh. So the stronger your spirit man is, the weaker your flesh is. So you're able to choose spirit or to do right over wrong.
Right.
So that's how I'm saying, like, the more you
this class, and it was attributed to a wolf. If you have two wolves, and you have one that you're feeding every day, and then you have one that's starving, when you put them in the closed gate, you have to fight. The one that you feed the most is gonna win. So when you go and you feed your flesh with all of whatever, and then your spirit is like it, of course, whenever you get into whatever, your spirit is not gonna win, your flesh gonna win. So for me, two things that have helped me to be in the world and not of the world, not saying that that's every day, it's an everyday battle like EJ said, but one thing that helped me for sure was feeding my spirit. Whether it be class, whether it be reading every day, whether it be the inspirationals that we have, reading that every day, it started to push things out of me that I thought was normal.
Right.
It started to refine me in a way where it was just like, oh, well, I don't even think I want that no more. And then it started like, I don't even have a taste for that no more. And it's like, when did that start happening? But it was just more of me feeding. And then the second thing was having an accountability partner, or having a team of people, a youth, young adult group that knew what I was struggling with, because we would take our mask off, like, look, this is what I'm struggling with. I'm struggling with something. I'm struggling with this. And then when you put it out there, it don't have no power. But when you leave stuff in the dark, it has power over you, and you struggle when you wear a mask. But when you take the mask off, and you're like, look, I'm struggling with this. No matter how ugly it is, no matter how difficult it is, no matter how embarrassing it is, the enemy has no power. So if you're struggling with it, that taking the mask off and having people around you that know what you're struggling with will help. But also, if you have people around you that are believers and they agree that we should be doing this, but we're doing it together, that can dampen what you're trying to do. That can dampen, because I've done that too. We partying and drinking and doing whatever, just wilding out, beating people up for what? And we all believers.
Hey, but you can turn that test to a
Right, you can turn that
testimony.
test to a testimony. But if you gotta be the person in your group, if y'all doing that, y'all gotta be the person in your group, like, look, okay, we said what we was gonna do.
It takes strength and it takes
And
confidence too.
discipline too.
And discipline to be in the world but not of the
Yeah.
world. It takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of strength, and it takes a lot of getting to know yourself, and doing, because when who you are, it's hard for somebody to come in and to ride their way.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, if you get to ride people's ways and you get to sit back, some people, we don't even know that we ride people's ways, because we don't know
Right.
that we are searching for ourselves through other people. You get what I'm saying? So at that point, that's when you like, I'm acting like this, or I'm doing this now, and this ain't even my journey, you know? So at the end of the day, it takes a lot of confidence and it takes a lot of strength to even be in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you have to get to that point in life. Like, nah, that ain't for me. That might be for you, that might be for mom, that might be for auntie, but that's not for me.
Right.
You know? And that's where the part coming in is hard.
And then if you're not strong enough, sometimes I know I went through a moment where God just stopped me, period. Like, you don't need to go there. You don't need to go with them. You don't need to be around them. I need to just have you to myself. Because at that time, I wasn't strong enough to be like, okay, I've stopped. Because I used to be like, oh, I can't do that. But God's like, you can do that. It's the will if you want to do that or not. Because he ain't going to say, don't. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to do that. It's like, if you want to or not. So sometimes you just need to stop being around that until you get strong enough.
And you notice a lot of people who struggles with not wanting to let people down, like how you said, God was telling me, no, you can't go there. No, you can't talk to this person no more. No. And then it's people be like, well, I don't want to change because people gonna think I might be funny, or people gonna say I'm fake, or people gonna, and I struggle with that. I struggle with, like, not wanting to, okay, but I really don't want to fight. Because I don't want to fight. It mean I'm scared? It don't mean I'm scared. It's just that I don't want to do it.
That's where your confidence comes in.
Right.
But also, God made you be set apart, so He didn't make you to fit in with all these other people.
Right.
But you gotta get to that.
Right.
Like you like,
Absolutely.
and that's what was so hard for me, because a lot of people could sit there and say that. A lot of people could be like, well, you know, God set you apart. You're different from everybody. I had to get to that understanding. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't just, you can't just be like, God made you perfect and you this. You can't just tell me that when I've never experienced it.
Right.
You know? Like I was saying about like getting to the point of like knowing yourself, or just wanting to like stop at, you know, because I used to question people thinking that I was on that point, or I I was, I think I'm fake, or I think I'm better than. I struggled with that. That was something that I had to go through, to where it was like, you know what? I don't care about what people think. I'ma do me. You get what I'm saying? And when I did do me, it was so many people that loved me. You know what I'm saying? Because I walked through that path, I guess, to explain it to other people. Like, it don't matter what they think. At the end of the day, like, continue to just do you.
No, that definitely makes sense. You definitely have to get to the point where you know who you are, because being in the world but not of the world, right? It's so important to know who you are so that you can stand out. Because if you're doing everything, if you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're being the exact same way everyone else is being. It is no way that you're going to allow the light that's within you, that sets you apart, the light that's in you, that makes you, or that who God made you to be. It's no way that is going to get out if we just continue to move in the way that we see others moving. So to me, being in the world but not of the world, right? It's truly being who God made you to be, and having to go through so many things to actually find out what that means to you.
Right.
Because we don't know let me speak for myself. I didn't know what God called me to be. Right? And because I did not know that, it was easy for me to do what I thought was my call. Or if that makes sense. Because I want to say something that's pretty personal, but it's just an example. Okay? I remember, right? I remember one day I asked somebody super important to me. I asked somebody super important to me to help me out. I was in college at the time. I needed some money. It was someone in my family. And they said to me, you have, better term exact words, you have
The vagina.
There you go.
Okay.
You have that, right? This is what they said to me. You have that. You shouldn't be asking me for it. And I was just like, whoa. That crushed me, especially from the person in my family who it was coming from. I ended up going to somebody else in my family and was like, can you believe what this person said to me? And she was like, oh, they said that to me too. So, unfortunately, during that time, I went with it, right? But even in the midst of that, I'm just like, this is not me. This is not me. And regardless of if everybody else is doing it, people that's super close to you is doing it, and it's being passed on from generation to generation to where you think that that's okay, you have to get to a place where it's just like, it's something more of me, something more of them as well. Maybe they didn't figure it out, but I'm going to make a stand to make it a point to, I'm going to find out what it is about me that I could just walk on my own journey or do what it is that I'm supposed to do. So that's just a small example for me of coming to a place where you have to figure out who you are for yourself so that you know how to move and you know how to operate and how God wants you to operate. He made us all different for a purpose, so there's no way that we can continue to move in the same direction.
Thanks for sharing that. But I think that not only knowing who you are, but knowing who you are in Christ plays a huge part. Like, you just gotta add that to it. Know who you are in Christ.
But I think we gotta keep in mind we're born into a world where the physical sense is so important. When you're growing up, you're being told what to do, but not to do, and it's all based on what the world says not to do or what to do. So we come into this world with the expectations of pleasing the world, pleasing our parents, pleasing our co-workers, our bosses, and everything is about what's of this world. So it's hard to identify and distinguish the spirit and physical because you're not taught that immediately. So then when you get to a point where you start realizing that there's something missing, then that's where God comes in, and that's when you start realizing that there is a difference. I can be physically in this world, but my whole mindset, my ways of doing it, everything can transition into the spirit. But people have to understand that, and you do have to go through things before you even get to that point, because I was of the world, and there's some things about me that's still of the world. But there was a point where I had no understanding idea of the spiritual world at all. I was only on this one road, and that was the world. And whatever it was that felt good to me, that was right. So I think when we cross those paths of realizing that it's God who put our shell here to physically be here, but His intentions was never for us to live and be of what is occupying the minds of the everyday people. But it takes time to get there. And you gotta, and it's the hurt. I think something that hurts you takes you to that place that it has to be something different. You gotta go through that hurt, and then you're like, wait a minute. Then you start reading the Word of God, and that becomes your, that is that part of being in it, but not of it. Now the Bible becomes, for me personally, the Bible becomes my roadmap of how to sustain myself here in the physical realm, but not actually believing what I see, because you can look at things today and be like, wait a minute, like this ain't looking, it ain't adding up to what God showed me. But that, if you're looking at the world, what you see in the world becomes, you start believing that opposed to what the Word says. So you have to make that decision, and you got to fight every day to say that this is what I want, because the enemy will get in your ears all day long and make you feel like that spiritual realm is non-existent. But if you take yourself back to yesterday and the day before, and those times that God got me through this, and because some things it was only Him that got us through it. So God, it was something that was out of this world that you saw that I needed to be overcome, right? But it takes time to get there. But I think that we're not taught that. Even if you have grown up, I think, in the church, it's still hard to distinguish it sometimes, But I mean, because I was always in church, but I had no idea of, any of that until I wanted to understand what it meant, the two different things. And it's real. Just know it's real.
I think something that's important with what you said is to knowing His Word, because something that my father used to tell me was, just like how to feed your physical body, you have to feed your spirit, and you have to feed your spirit with the Word of God, because, like you were saying, the devil, we hear him as well. He comes to us and he tries to distract us, and he tries to distract us. So if we know the Word and we know that that's not of the Word, then we know that, okay, I need to turn away from that, because that's not God. That's not how God rocks. That's not how He rolls. You know what I'm saying? So I think us just really tapping into that is how we can grow our spirits, and we can know when it is the Holy Spirit leading us and telling us to go right when we think we're supposed to go left. And He's like, no, go. We're like, wait. So it's just really just feeding so that it can grow, so that you can start to know what you're hearing. You can distinguish the difference of what you're hearing.
It's a very thin line, because that just brought me back to a memory that I had. I knew God called me at a very young age, and He would send people to me like God has His hand on me, and I knew. So I would have like this conviction, like I can't even describe it, to where I would hear Him be like, okay, this way, and I would listen to it. But it got to a point, like even at school, I remember one of my friends, he would be like, oh, Pastor Raquel, right? So he'd be like, Pastor, the deaconess is here just playing. And so we ditching the smoking weed. Smoking weed. He like, the deaconess is up here, the Pastor Raquel. I'm like, shut up, it's off the church record. So I started doing that, literally, and be like, we kicking it, we doing whatever, it's off the church record. Like, let me tell you, okay, off the church record. And it started to be like, okay, off the church. It was jokingly, but I started actually like being able to do things, and my conviction would still be there, but I would still be able to move forward. And then like the older I got, especially when I got like in my 20s, maybe like teens to 20s, like after I graduated, I started being able to indulge in things that before it would make me sick. Like I'd be like, nah, I can't. Like, I'm not even with this, but before I would be able to dive all the way into it, like this off the record, I'm gonna live my life. Like I'm gonna live my life. And if that is you, because we're talking to whoever, if that is you, it's important for you to know, okay, God is talking to me, and it's the reason why he's talking to you.
Right.
So if he's talking to you in that type of way where you literally hear him, the enemy don't want you to hear him like that. So it's a teeter-totter, and because I was teeter-tottering, it was some real major pain. It was a major pain that went on, that the only reason I sustained that, most people would have jumped off a cliff, committed suicide, or killed somebody because of their anger, because of their frustration, because of their disgust. But because I had that underlying foundation of God, I was able to pull myself back up. And not even me pull myself up, the Holy Spirit in me was able to say, don't do that, Raquel. Don't do that, that's going too far. I remember I got to a place where I was so dark and depressed, where I was on the floor, and I was just like, God, I don't even want to wake up no more. And that's when I heard God say, I got you. Just get back up. So it's a fine line when you play with the enemy.
Yes.
And you in the world, because when you step out of God's covering into the world, you in the enemy's territory, and the enemy know that you are not on his team.
Yep.
So he's like, oh, you over here playing with me? Like, just like in the game territory, you ain't gonna go into the game territory and be sitting there like throwing up the rival game.
Right.
Then you be like, oh, she in my camp, oh, she wanna play, okay, pass her this and pass her that. And some people never make it back. So remember, when you want to teeter-totter and you want to be lukewarm and you want to go over there, that God has your covering, yes, but the enemy gonna come after you just as much harder because you ain't paying attention to your mindset. So,
I think too, to add to that is in those areas that you may be struggling with, because we might be talking to someone that's like, none of this makes sense, I don't know how to distinguish one or the other, but I think just keep this one thing in mind: when you're weak, God is strong. So wherever you're weak in, like I mentioned, there's some areas that I'm still of this world. I go to God every day with that stuff. Or when it comes up, I'm like, God, I need you more than ever, because there's just some things that you just physically and in your spirit you can't really get out of, but you have to surrender yourself to him and just say, okay, listen, I don't know how to stop doing this, or how to, move away from this group of people, or how to overcome this situation, but just to know that God is going to, because you can't do both. That's when you get confused, and that's when you don't know who you are, you're confused about what you're doing, how you're doing it, you don't know what the words coming out of your mouth, you're just confused. I've been there before, just not sure like who I am, and that right there is not a good feeling, to be confused. But once you're sure of who you are, that's not within yourself, it's because God has said who you are, then that right there is going to help you distinguish the two. But you cannot serve both. You can't serve the world and the spirit, because you are not going to feel that happiness, joy, all those feelings that we yearn for. You're not going to get there, because like Kel said, you're teeter-totter. You one way this day, and the other way around these people, you this and around that. It's like, be you all the way, and allow God to let the light shine on those areas, so the believers and people that you're around can say, hey, that's not what I hear your mouth saying, or that's not what's lining up to where I believe you're saying you want to go. But you have to make that decision and distinguish.
And all of this takes time.
Yes.
Everything that we're saying, it takes time. It don't happen overnight. Even starting a relationship with God, that don't happen overnight for some people. So I just want, everybody here, I believe believes in Jesus Christ. I believe that we have a relationship with him individually, but also it takes time. Like, and I don't want it to be feeling like anybody out there like this is forced upon you or nothing. Like, it's your choice. Do what you have to do, but know that it's greater when you are in the world and you really not nothing. So when you looking at social media and you can say like, I don't have to be what they told me I need to be. I don't have to be this size. I don't have to talk about being this color. I don't have to try and darken my skin like to be lighter. Like, I don't have to do nothing that the world is putting out. Like, I don't have to. And when you come to that part of I don't have to do what they say, that's when you come face to face with yourself. And the thing is that a lot of people don't want to come face to face with themselves. Because you think that people are not going to accept you, or you think that, oh, I'm too ugly, they not, you know, they don't want me over here, or my family told me this, or whatever it is. You don't have to though. That's the thing. Because when you come face to face with yourself, and when you believe, like Jackie said, what God said about you, but the thing is, you do have to know His word in order to know what He say about you. Because we walking around, a lot of people is walking around, and I could say at one point I was probably like this, that I start believing what the world put out. Now, it wasn't nobody never really tearing me down, but people did talk about me, you know what I'm saying? And it got back to me, and it's like, yeah, words do hurt. Like, it really do hurt. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if I would have let that penetrate me to my heart, Bridget wouldn't be Bridget right now. And I believe that I know that I was called by God. I know I'm anointed. I know what God said about me, and I believe it. That's the thing. You can know what God said about you, but you don't believe it. I need you to start believing what He said about you once you read it in His word. So I really this topic to me is big, because I feel like you gotta come face to face with yourself. You gotta sit down and say, this is something I don't like about myself. God, did you really give this to me, or did I take this upon me because somebody said this about me? You get what I'm saying? Because it's so, you gotta grow. You should be growing daily. And in order to grow daily, you gotta know yourself. You gotta be true to yourself. You gotta take the mask off and say, God, this is me. If you ain't real with nobody else, be real with yourself and be real with God. Okay? And everything else will work out. That is what, to me, being in the world but not of the world, is being real with Bridget, and it's being real with God. God, I did this, help me. You know what I'm saying? I had a conversation with my husband last night. He's like, I'm sick of what people saying. I'm trying to be a realist now. And I look at him like, what that mean? What that mean? You know what I'm saying? Because we're conditioned to do things. Since we were a child, we've been conditioned to do things, and some of the stuff that we've been taught, guess what? It's wrong.
It's wrong.
Okay. So you gotta condition yourself to do something else.
Right.
And guess what? That takes time.
I found myself when I used to be in uncomfortable situations. That's how I started learning myself. When I started this don't make me feel right. You know, I'm gonna give you an example. Wearing big earrings. I used to try to wear big earrings because the big earring thing was in. Everybody was wearing the big earrings, the whole basketball earring thing was popping. And I used to be like, oh my God, I want some earrings. I buy the earrings, I get the earrings, but I did not feel comfortable. Everybody you look cute, and I didn't feel comfortable. I used to have to be feel uncomfortable the whole time I got these big earrings on, literally, to where when I put my stuff in, I felt more myself, I felt more comfortable. So I started paying attention. I just can't wear big earrings. They might look cute to you on me, but they don't look cute to me on me.
Well, you can keep it up.
I mean, because I'm growing into that. At that point in my life, I couldn't do it. You get what I'm saying? And I wanted to, but I just started paying attention to what made me feel uncomfortable. If it made me feel uncomfortable, take it off. If it made me feel uncomfortable, leave. If it made me feel uncomfortable, that ain't your friend. If that made me feel uncomfortable, y'all not for me. So I started paying attention to what was making me feel away. And that's how I started picking up, that's not me. Me, that's just not who I am. That goes back to the episode that we did with hanging with females. It's just not me to do that. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes I feel uncomfortable when it's too me. So I started paying attention to myself, and that's how I started learning who I was and what I liked and what I didn't like,
Would you believe that feeling that you have? Would you say that that's your spirit, or I feel like that's correction, or that's conviction, or that's God shaping and molding you to what He wants you to be, or where He wants you to go? Would you?
Because now I wear big earrings.
That was a real good example.
You know what I'm saying? Now I've grown, He shaped me into something different. And now I'm running put big earrings on today. At first I could not do that. So I do agree with you with God, shaping you, molding you, and just getting you to where you need to be, but you have to allow it. You have to allow it, you have to to it,
You got to
and you
obey
have
it.
to obey it, you know, and sometimes that's the hard part, and that's the struggle, when you dealing with like
That discipline.
the world.
Man.
Yeah, the discipline,
That
it's
discipline is
crazy.
hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
And I've been hearing him very clear with a lot of stuff. I think too I'm nosy because I've been wanting to know what might happen. So I'm like, well, I know God, but let me just see what might happen. Then I'm like, I already know I shouldn't have did, or I shouldn't have been around him, or I shouldn't, But that discipline is hard, especially, I mean, even knowing the word, even knowing that I can distinguish the two for the most part. It's still hard because sometimes you still want to be of the world. I mean, regardless of how, and this is something important, for anyone who's watching, regardless of how much we're saying, that we've been shaped and we've changed and we've grown, we still sometimes want to be of the world.
Say that again.
It's fun, or you know what I mean? So that's the struggle in all of that. I think it's especially for me. Sometimes, like I said, I be knowing, but I still want to go do it.
It goes back to what Jasmine said. We're still flesh, though. So those, not only the temptations gonna come, but naturally we're going to want to experience that and do that. But again, that comes from it comes from just taking that time to know who you are. You're gonna have a lot of falls, bumps, and bruises, and we have to be okay with that. And know and understand and be happy that that's part of the process. And God is so gracious enough to allow you to make you fall.
Don't beat yourself up that you didn't mess up.
Right. That's true. Because the God we serve, He doesn't beat us up. He don't hit us over the head. That's what we do in flesh.
We do it to ourselves.
We are conditioned that, okay, this is right and this is wrong. God said love is love. Like, He loves us through it.
Yes, He do.
He loves us through it and He forgives us and moves it. But when we get into it, we're like, oh no, Trey, you did this and you shouldn't. But God is like, not like that. So when you fall in love with God, the actual creator and the one who made us all, the other stuff don't even matter. Like, it doesn't even matter.
It starts falling off. Like, I think somebody already said this, like, you're going to start not wanting to do certain things anyway.
Right.
And that's that whole, like, surrendering to God every day. And, like, there's certain, like, if certain people take you to a certain place, like, they just make you so upset. It's like, you need to ask God to help you with that. You know what I'm saying? And then that's coming close face to face with you, because a lot of things that come to us, it's not the other person, it's something inside of us that you need to deal with before you can even deal with why that person did it, or whatever that person may have done to you. But it's a process, and I think that's what we're trying to say. Like, it's a process, and you're going to feel like you got it, and God's gonna remind you ain't got it. Because the moment you think you got it is when you're gonna mess up again, because God needs you to need Him.
Right.
So you gotta make sure that you don't get you stay humble in knowing that you're in this world, but you're not of it, because at any given time, God can do whatever it is that He wants to do. But I think keeping the word near you keeps you bold. It keeps you feeling as if, even if I see this coming head on towards me, that I still got God walking in between me and that thing, so that way I know that I'm covered. So it's just it's a process. You got
One thing that I would want everyone to walk away with is knowing that it is a process, and when you fall, the thing for me that I want to tell everyone is do not beat yourself up. If you make a mistake, if you fall, if you find yourself in a bind, whatever the case may be, just go to God. Go to God and talk to God. Understand that He can help you. And regardless of if other people are coming to you and telling you or pointing it out or reminding you of something that you did when you failed, do not beat yourself up. Remember the grace of God.
And I think that if after you watch this and you feel that you do want to make that change of not being in the world, but making the distinguish between the two, I think the first thing you do is just be patient with yourself and start diving into the Word of God. You don't have to read a lot, just read a little bit, something that's going to make you feel secure in your decision, and just lean on the Word every day, and don't be afraid to look different, and don't be afraid to be by yourself, because when you start making those changes, you might find some time that you might find that you will be by yourself, and it may be something you're not used to, but if you make that decision, that's what God wants you to do, and he's called you to be pulled out of the world just for a moment so that he can cover you and keep you just covered with him. I guarantee you is going to feel like you're going to feel that physical you being here, but your spirit is just going to rise beyond anything that you're going through.
I would say spend time with God, get to know him, get to know his voice. Also cover yourself every day with the full armor of God because you're going to need it. It's definitely a battle out there, and it's not what's being seen before your eyes, but it's a spiritual battle. It's a struggle. It's a challenge. But with God and you covering yourself with the full armor of God, you can make it through. And don't ignore the voice of God. Don't ignore your spirit telling you something because your spirit is nudging you for a reason. So listen to it. Even if you have to take a moment to just get yourself out of the chaos or the noise that's going on and just focus in. Listen to that spirit. God is not going to lead you into danger or into any harm. If anything, he's trying to take you away from it. So don't ignore it. And like Trey was saying, just be patient. It's definitely a process. It's not going to happen overnight. But spend time with God as much as you possibly can and get to know his voice because it is crucial and it is vital to be in this world and not of it. That will help you a lot.
I think that you have to come face to face with yourself. You gotta sit in the mirror and you gotta come face to face with yourself. After you do that, come face to face with God. And you can either begin your relationship with him or I would say allow him to show you what he wants you to do in this world. Because there's a lot of people walking around doing what they think they're supposed to be doing, but it's not what God called you to do. If you never sat down and asked God, what am I supposed to be doing in this world? That means you lost. That means that you are leading yourself. And you shouldn't be leading yourself because guess where that's leading? It's leading to destruction. So I would say come to grips or come to a realization that one, that you'll never have it together. You'll never be perfect. And I think that's why a lot of people look at things on social media or on TV and try and compare themselves because you think I'm supposed to be perfect. But the realization is that you'll never be perfect. So since I'll never be perfect, let me just continue to work on me daily. I'll never get to perfection, but I can get to where God wants me to be. And when you realize that, I feel like so many breakthroughs will happen. I feel like chains will break off you because you will only amount up to what God wants you to be. You cannot amount up to people's expectations. And if you can take off that part, then I feel like you'll be good. You can be in the world and not be ugly. And that's me.
That's your person. They had some good guys.
Yeah, they do.
I really did. I'm like, how did I come up with this? But my encouraging word is most definitely fast from social media. Fast from people you don't even need to be following. If every time you click on this one person's page or this person comes up on your timeline and you feel some type of way, you just might want your chest done. You might want your booty done. And it's not of you, unfollow those people. Take a break from social media. Take a break from anything that's worldly that could keep you, just getting wrapped up in your own thoughts or your own mind frame. So just for me, the encouraging word is to just basically just fast. Get off of social media as long as possible. If you could, do it for 30 days. If you could do it for 10 days, take it to 20. If you could do it to 20, take it to 30. If you could do it to 30, take it to 60. But give yourself that time to be great. Give yourself that time to be you. Give yourself that time to learn you. Give yourself that time to understand what makes you comfortable, what makes you uncomfortable. Give yourself that time.
Man, that was good. Okay. Dang, that was real good. I only have two things. The first one is stay true to yourself. Stay true to yourself. Know how Mika was saying. If it don't feel good, If you feel tangled inside, if you feel extremely uncomfortable where it's just like, start to pay attention to stuff like that. It's important to go to God with it first and foremost, but definitely pay attention to that so you can stay true to yourself and you can stay just on that right path. And then the second thing is, don't be afraid to mess up. That's God give us that grace for that, but you have to learn from it. I'm not saying just go out there and mess up and think that, oh, everything is okay. If you fall, don't be ashamed of falling. Just make sure when you get back up, you're going to be stronger than you were before. And if you follow those two things and what everybody else is saying, then you're going to be more than great.
And my last word would be, God is the originator and Satan is the duplicator. Remember that anything that has been done, God is always the originator and Satan is the duplicator. A lot of us don't get out of the world and come to God, or be in the world and don't be of the world because we feel like, oh, I'm gonna lose myself. Oh, I'm gonna lose what? And I know for me, it's like, oh, I love the party. Oh, I love to have fun. I love to clown. I love to joke. I love to laugh. And I told God, like, God, I want to be all for you. And He's like, I'm the originator. Like, you can still party in me. You can still dance in me. You can still laugh in me. You still can have fun in me. And when I heard that, and I started to see it actually manifest to where we have the parties at the church and all of that type of stuff, I was like, God, you for real, for real. And God is that originator. So anything that you feel like God made me this way and this is who God is, you can keep that. But you got to give it to God first. You got to give it back to God. Like, God, this is who you say I am. I'm giving everything back to you, and He'll give it back to you, and you will be clothed in what you were supposed to be clothed in from the beginning.